Okay guys, sorry about the delay on that. I did get my drink. I've got two nice, very large bottles of H2O. They are not H2O2, otherwise I would be dead for you chemists out there. So we're going to go ahead and start the next one here. This one is Stop the Thief. So this one pays about the same as what we've been getting tonight. It's actually, I'm noticing that our loyalty points are starting to go down per mission, which is a little bit annoying, but that does mean that soon we should see a very high paying one. They do not always stay low. This one's a little bit lower because we're going into a 1.0, which means there's not going to be very many people there. The only thing we have to pick up in this one is a single report. So the last guy we kill is going to have a report that we need, and we're just going to get right on into this. I'm going to accept that one, and then I'm going to get our mission brought up here. And then I am going to go ahead and repair my drones. I did not do this the last time. I should have, because I had one that was damaged. You can manually repair them yourself. I do have a repper on my ship, but that would take too much time. And for the whopping 600 ISK, it is not worth the time waste for this feed. So we're going to go ahead and get going here.
I'm going to go ahead and let you get started without me, since I am trying to get two accounts running around right now. It is taking me a bit to salvage because I am trying to get another pilot over here in order to run the salvager for us, so this way I won't have to switch ships.
Now, I personally would be running two accounts, but with trying to encode the stream to my drive and to Twitch, it does take a little bit extra processing power. I'm running an i7-980X, and I'm currently sitting at about 65% of my CPU usage, so I don't want to really try to risk adding another one and making the feed degrade. I'm trying to make sure that we keep a very high quality feed and that we are making sure that we can give you the utmost best quality while we are playing. So we are running that on a second 980X, so he should be okay with running two accounts without any issues. It's just getting it set up so that he's ready to go. This is kind of a last-minute decision to add in a second account on that machine, just so that we can continue to pound through missions a little bit faster. This will allow us to not stop the feed and wait. We will be able to continue on while that second account on the second system is doing all of the salvaging for us. I'm here now. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the encounter here. That'll make me the primary target, which will be fine. I should be able to handle this one without any problems, being as it is only 1600 LP. I do base most of my damage on what I'm going to expect to see on the amount of LP that I get in the mission. The higher the LP that you receive, the higher the LP, the more you're going to take damage. So that's just kind of the way that goes.
Yeah, general rule of thumb is the higher the LP that the payout is, the more ships that are going to be in there. So generally the higher your bounty payouts will be and the more damage you are going to be receiving.
And Zillion, you're right. The second account will be using less of your processes. However, I have enough other open windows that I do not really right now want to have to mess with that. As you can see, I'm already starting to take damage from the first guy that's out here. I'm going to get my short-range sentries out because it is a battleship, and I will just take him down before the other ones can get within range. And then we'll switch to long range, and we'll start taking them out as well. Now this is all mercenaries, so they're going to be doing some explosive damage to me. My shields are not quite effective against that as well as they should be, but I should be able to take out everything here without any problems. As you're seeing, I'm taking out this mercenary overlord without any real problems whatsoever, and that is just how we like to have it. Now we did just get in a whole nother stack of guys directly on top of me.
Which when you are running sentries, that is not a good thing.
No, that is not. However, they are all locking me instead of my sentries, so that is a very good thing, and that will keep me moving along tonight without any problems. But as you can see, I'm already starting to take some shield damage. I am shield tanked, so that means that if my shields get too low, I will have to leave. I will not have a choice in that matter. We are trying to take out the frigates that are on top. I am webbed way down. I have 3 guys on top of me webbing, so I need to return my sentries and go ahead and get them taken out. Actually, I have 4 of them now that are webbing me, so I need to very, very quickly here get on top of these little guys and get them off of me.
Your most dangerous guys in these rooms are the frigates because they will web, they will scram. You really have to be careful if you're warp scrambled, especially if you're going in with a ship that you're not sure it's going to be able to tank it, because if they warp scramble you and you cannot kill them in time, you will lose your ship.
I am actually down to already 40% shields. I don't know that I'm going to be able to stay in here much longer. I might have to warp out and then come back. I am not warp scrambled right now, so I should be able to do that without any problem. But if I can continue to kill some more of these frigates here that are on top of me, I might be able to get this damage down to where I'm not dying near as quickly. I'm down to 20% now. I'm going to go ahead and return my drones to the bay, and I am going to go ahead and warp out for just a minute and then come back. Since I'm webbed, I will actually warp faster, so that is going to work against them, but I am still shooting at things while I'm on my way out and trying to get out of here, and then I will come right back to that spot, and we will do this again. Zillion stole my money saying that I had better get that Weber. Unfortunately, in that particular mission, if you were watching the side screen, I had almost 13 guys webbing me. I was down to less than 2 meters per second from my top speed of almost 270. As you can see, my shields are already over half full. I do repair very quickly on my shields. It should take me just a minute here to fully recharge, and then I can go back in and try that again.
See what happens when I'm not there?
It is very nice when this damage is split between multiple people. It does help to make that a little bit easier. I am flying a ship that can handle this. It's not a real big deal, but like I said, because it is explosive, I am not specifically tanked for that. I probably should have threw on an explosive hardener, and then it would not have been near as big a problem.
Now, even though I am flying a T3 ship, armor's weakest against explosive naturally, so I would have to swap out my active EM for the active explosive in order to get any decent resistances to that, to where I would not have to warp out as well. And I should be done with salvaging here in just a minute or two. And the other pilot has finally docked at the station, so we will be able to keep running missions while I have him salvaging after I am done here.
Now I'm already back to 90%, so I'm going to go ahead and initiate warp back in. By the time I get there, I should be at about 95%, and that will be just fine. And then we'll go ahead and get restarted on killing those frigates. Now they will all be directly on top of me the moment that I jump into the room, because they don't typically move back to their points until about 30 minutes in, and that's just kind of how that goes.
Is this room gated?
No, it is not. It is a direct warp in.
Then you should be able to warp in at distance.
Yeah, I should have, but I didn't, so I'm already going to be right back on top of these guys. Which, like I said, will not be a real problem. I have enough shields now that I have a buffer so I can get restarted on these guys and get these frigates out of here. The frigates have already locked me. They're already starting to do some damage in here, so I'm going to go ahead and get my drones moving to kill these frigates. If I can get the frigates off of me, I should be able to withstand the rest of the room without too much of a problem. I have to just pound through these guys just as fast as we can, and if we have to warp out again, we can. Zillion stole my money saying, why not jump in to 20k? I probably should have jumped in at about 80k and made them fly to me, but that would separate out our wrecks quite a bit. I am trying to keep all of our wrecks in one spot for the moment, so I'm willing to take the chance with the damage. As you can see, they've already got me down to about 70%. I'm down to 56%, so I am starting to drop again. But, like I said, if I can get these frigates off of me, then I can get back to just dropping out guards, and I will take the battleship damage off, and then it will not be an issue. I do not have any heavies with me, so that will mean that I do have to use my guards to make that damage disappear. Now, they are directly on top of me, so my autocannon will do some damages to them without any issue whatsoever. But I'm starting to stabilize out now at about 50%, which is about where we want to be. So we're going to return our drones here, and then we're going to get our guards out, and we are going to start killing these shadows that are on top of me.
Took me just a little bit longer to salvage that mission because there were illegal drugs in some of the cans. You can pick those up if you want to, but be aware that if you do have to go through any gates, the customs officers will scan your ship. There is about a 3% chance that they will scan it. If they do and they find those illegal drugs, you are fined 500% of the average market value, on top of the fact that you will lose faction standings.
Now, as you can see, I've balanced out now that I took those frigs out. I'm managing to stay about 51%. It will get a little bit better as I take out these battleships. When the battleships are gone, then the damage onto me will drop considerably. Now, that's one of the things you do just have to deal with in missions. Any mission, it doesn't matter what level it is or what ship you're in. If you have to warp out, by all means, make sure that you warp out before you're dead. If you are in your pod, they will not attack you, but you still want to make sure that you get out before you are in your pod. That way you are not losing a bunch of ISK in ships and components. So as you can see, we're starting to get through these guys. The battleships are down now. We're working on the second one to get it off the list. And as soon as we get that third one off the list, then we should be completely okay, and there should be no additional issue with who is out here. Being that they're cruisers, they're not going to do enough damage to the tank that I have on this ship to actually pound through me. What was killing me is that these shadows are at 4K. They're using a autocannon fit, and they are able to do explosive direct damage. And they can do it very, very well, even at my small size. They're actually hitting me, it appears to be in the 50s, while the little guys are only hitting me 25 to 30. Now we're on to the next guy here, and we're going to get him off of our list as well. Now the only problem that you really do have is that I have my long range out instead of my short range. That might be why they're not hitting quite as well here. Let's go ahead and get those guys back in. I must have clicked on the wrong one just a minute ago. I need my short range, not my long range. And then this would be going just a little bit faster here. Now if we tell that to engage, we should start doing quite a bit more damage. Yeah, there we go. Now we're starting to pound through them just a whole lot faster.
If you could, if you get a second, send 99 a fleet invite this way.
Just a second, and we'll get that done.
There. Or, well, just to make sure that the wrecks will be able to be picked up by him. They should all be free to corp, but just as a safety measure.
So we're now just pounding through the guys that are here. As you can see, my guards, even down to 5 and 6K, can still hit quite well. There is not a real big issue with them hitting. When they do get in extremely close, like this one is at 2800, it will be a little bit harder for me to get through him. But they will still hit. About half of the time they will still apply damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave my guns on that guy for a minute. Unless we just start doing some massive damage to him here, because we should be at a point where he can actually tank the amount of damage that's coming in. But it looks like we're still going through him.
If you want to leave the guys that are right on top of you, I'm actually in warp to you now, and I should be able to take them out fairly quickly.
Okay, there's only one guy left that's directly on top. Everybody else is at about 15k. So I'm going to switch my guards over to the guys at 15 so I can start actually doing some damage. Like I said, any mission can get hairy. As you saw earlier, it didn't take much to actually make that happen because my tank was not set up well enough. That is just something you have to deal with, and you have to be willing to get out and just leave for a minute and come back. And then I was fine, and I was able to tank that amount of damage because I had enough of a buffer to allow me to kill a few more.
As you can see, I've just landed, and they have already almost completely taken out my shields. So they have switched targets from him to me already.
And for some reason here, we just lost all sound in Eve. So let me disable my sound real quick and then re-enable it. There we go. Now we've actually got some sound back in Eve. That'll be a little bit better than listening to the sound of silence. So there we go. That finishes up this mission. And since he already has the other account on, I should be able just to pick up this can, and I won't even have to bookmark it. He should be able just to jump directly in. Now, we don't bring our salvager in until the mission is complete. You can try to bring in a salvager early, but if they happen to take any kind of aggro, they are going to need to get out in a hurry because they will not be able to handle what's there.
And those ships do not have very much shields, armor, or structure hit points, and they do not have hardly any resistances at all, so any damage is bad.
Okay, do you have him headed in?
Yes.
Then I'm going to go ahead and head back. We're going to just jump to the Stargate directly. I'm just going to do a warp squad since there's only two of us right here right now. The other one is just landing. As you can see, our salvager is now here, and he's going to start cleaning up that mess for us while we move on. Zillion stole my money, says that I need to loot those battleship wrecks. You are correct. That is why our salvager is in there. He is going to take care of that for us, and then he'll give us a readout of what he actually picked up. Hopefully he picks up quite a little bit, and we make some really good money on that. Now, I do see that we already got a payout tick, so let's see what we made in that on this round. We got 1.6 million ISK on the bounty payout. Not a whole lot, but it makes sense. Like I said, that was a very low-end mission. It was not an extremely high-end one, so we were not expecting a whole lot in there. Elflorin asked, have you ever tried living in Nullsec? Yes, actually, both of us just came back from Nullsec in the last 6 months. We were in the Space Monkey Alliance. That is a fun place to be. Low-Sec is fun as long as you're with a good set of guys. There are some times, though, when being in Low-Sec is not as much fun. SinLinksD is asking, why bother covering my system? if I can see where you are anyway. One of the reasons that I cover up that primary location is it does take a little bit more work to look at the side screen and figure out where I'm at. You can do it, but I'm just trying to make sure that we don't get any gank fleets that decide they want to come take us out. It's really just to cut down on the people who are speeding through and trying to come and pop people who are doing feeds. That is a problem in EVE, and one that I'm hoping to avoid by doing just that small bit. If I do need to, I will block out the other side so you can't actually see it either, and then you will not know where I'm at ever. Elf Loren's asking what made me leave nullsec. One of the biggest reasons that most people choose to leave nullsec is corporate bullshit, where they tell you you have to do this and you have to do it now, or we're going to kick you from the corp and blow you up. That is some of the stuff that I was dealing with, and I was not very grateful for that. I'm not a PvPer, so when they make PvP mandatory, that is typically when I leave. I like doing PvE. I also like doing Industrial. I like doing plexes. I like doing things that make money. So it's kind of fun that way. SinLinksD says that I'm currently in his home system. Yeah, our home system is actually about 5 or 6 jumps from here. We just come over here because this has a good level 4 that does not send us into low sec very often. It's only one of every 50 missions that will actually get sent to low sec. And for those of you that are new or thinking about playing, low sec is not someplace you generally want to go to when you're new. That is somewhere you want to stay away from unless you're going out with a group of players already that are going to help protect you. Anything below a 0.4 is considered low sec. Null sec starts at 0.0 and below, so any negative sec would be considered null sec. That is where you are completely weapons free. You can do anything you would like. If you want to drop a bomb on a gate, you can. Anything above 0.0, as in 0.1 and up to 0.4, you may not drop bombs. They do not allow it anymore. Yeah, they used to, but they do not any longer. Here we are. We're going to go ahead and turn this one in.
Which that part I really hated, considering that my first account was a